Now, the third part, and the one that we really want to pay most attention, is integrated surveillance of human and animal health. And here I would like to say that this is not new at all. This schematic that you see here is from the World Bank from 2012, from the book People, Pathogens and Our Planet. And this schematic says essentially, if you discover an emerging disease in the environment or in wildlife, the relative cost, the associated costs are relatively low. But if you find it in livestock, you have already higher cost. And if you wait until it appears in humans, you have the highest cost. I believe that the COVID-19 pandemic could not have been a better proof of this conceptual thinking. Now, what is the consequence of this schematic? The consequence is that we should bring together the integrated surveillance systems. We should bring together surveillance systems in humans and in animals and in the environment. But all this is really not new, because we mentioned that already. We mentioned that already in 2005 in what we believe was one of the first papers using the term One Health in the biomedical literature in Lancet. This statement was written with regard to the outbreak of H5N1 in 2004 and 5, and we say that besides research on vaccines and drugs, we should pay attention to the biosafety in smallholder livestock systems and live animal markets to prevent and reduce interactions between wildlife and livestock and humans, to prevent future pandemics. So we said that already 18 years ago, but it was not heard. Nobody listened to it. And we have recently summarized the evidence of One Health for global health security in that Lancet paper that was published in January 2023. Advancing One Human Animal Environmental Health for global health security. What does the evidence say? And we summarize the evidence that I have previously shown to you. And we used in that paper the same schematic as the World Bank. And we studied specifically the reporting of the international health regulations by the World Health Organization and the performance of veterinary service reports to the World Organization of Animal Health. In the current situation, the surveillance is led separately between humans and animals, and we recommend a One Health governance. For this, we don't need new ministries, but we need the willingness to cooperate. And we argue that we combine the surveillance of humans and animals. We could maybe not prevent, but we could surely reduce the cost of outbreaks. And under a perfect governance, we could, One Health governance, we could arrive to a minimum effect of zoonotic outbreaks. But besides the governance, we must make massive efforts to improve biosecurity between humans, wildlife, and livestock at the level of production, transport, and marketing. All the pictures that you see here are not acceptable anymore. This is neither humane nor acceptable from an animal welfare point of view. In May, I have received an award from the World Organization of Animal Health, and I recommended all the chief veterinary officers in the world to work towards a UN Convention for Animal Health and Welfare. We need a global agreement that we want to improve biosafety, to reduce, to no longer have these kind of pictures, to really make sure that the animals are kept in a better way that is humane, and that we reduce the risk of disease at the animal-human interface. Such integrated surveillance systems that I discussed previously exist already. I mention here the West Nile virus surveillance system in Italy, in northern Italy, in Emilia-Romagna. This is a province around Venice, and they do the integrated surveillance between humans, horses, wild birds, and mosquitoes. And they inform each other who finds what. And in this way, they can save money because they can avoid that contaminated blood is given from between humans. And they can test it ahead before they have contaminated blood conserves. We are currently building up such a system in Ethiopia. This is a veterinary officer and a public health officer. This is my doctoral student. And they sit in the same office. And they work with the village health workers, and they call them if they have outbreaks in humans or in animals. And in this way, they can reduce the risk of transmission of zoonotic diseases between humans and animals. In the same time, we build up village health insurances. All these women put money together so that if one of them needs an emergency evacuation, they can buy the fuel and the driver to bring them to the next hospital. So this is really at the, on the side of developing countries, that we can implement the same systems also in low-income settings. I close this part of the talk by summarizing the integrated health concepts. The red ellipse is the public health domain. The green ellipse is the animal health domain, and the intersection, the narrow intersection, is the narrow concept of One Health. But if we look also at environmental issues, One Health addresses also issues of social ecological systems. Now, conceptually broader is the concept of ecosystemic approaches to health that really encompasses this whole ellipse. And I argue that One Health is part of an ecosystemic approach to health, or health in social ecological systems. I will come back to that point. Planetary health looks at the big aspects like climate change or biodiversity loss, but planetary health essentially looks at human health. I have seen almost no paper that addresses also animal health from a planetary health perspective. One Health is also the broadest operationalized concept of integrated approaches. We have the quadripartite organization between World Health Organization, FAO, World Organization of Animal Health, and the United Nations Environmental Programme. We have the One Health high-level committee, and also the G7 recently has recommended One Health as an intended approach to preventing future pandemics.